Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is able to hear me and everyone is able to see my screen. If possible, can someone please confirm if you're able to hear me clearly and able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Sir, in the last class, we wrote a code of. I didn't share the code, okay, because we didn't get the output right last time. So what we have done, sir, we have taken a CC logo, that is credit card logo directive, and we have taken NG on changes over here. As part of NG on changes is taken concern, where I'm taking this. If 42 starts with Visa, if 35 starts with MasterCard, if 22 starts with American Express, right? So everything we typed correctly, sir. So especially in Angular 18 onwards, default configuration of assets folder. This is assets folder. This is the default configuration, guys, in the assets folder. Okay. This is, we need to change. We need to remove this particular configuration, guys. Okay. Where we need to take care of in the assets folder, whatever, because it should be available star, which is some different setting which Angular 18 has taken, which is not inline to our context over here. For that, what we are going to do is, we are going to have src/assets. This is what we need to take care over here, guys. We need to remove the section. We need to keep this section. This is favicon. That's a symbol, Angular symbol, no issues actually. Please refer to assets folder, src/assets. Okay. Within src, you have assets, right? So I'm referring my assets should be within src/assets. Now I'll run the code. That's the only change we need to do, guys. In the last time, we didn't get output, right, guys? Okay. Now the only change I need to have here, so which is localhost colon 4200. And what is the code we wrote, sir? CC logo. Yeah, this is my code. If it starts with 42, now I am typing 42. You saw Visa symbol came right automatically, isn't it? Now I am removing. Other symbol came. When I type 35, you're able to see MasterCard, isn't it? 22, Amex card. This is American Express, which is a 22 is Amex card. So totally, there are three types of things here. 42, I am typing something, Visa is coming. 35, I am typing something, this is MasterCard is coming. 22, I am typing Amex card is coming here. Visa, MasterCard, Amex. Total 3 cards are available here, and otherwise it's unknown. I mean, if I type anything which is not here, which is not matching, which is unknown. So last time we didn't get this image because of our image is not referred by the Angular. Now it is referred over here. Understand? So what is the change I did, sir? In the angular.json file, we need to change the asset folder, which should map to src/assets. That's the only thing we need to correct it. Okay. So sir, can I share code today and last class and today's class? I'll combine that. I'll share it. Okay. Is it clear? Yeah. So before I proceed further, any questions from anyone so far? Is everyone is clear? As of now, any questions from anyone, guys? Okay. Now I'm going to take next topic is a life cycle hooks, guys. Okay, life cycle hooks. Minimum 2 to 3 questions will come in interview, guys. Minimum 2 to 3 questions. Okay. And I'm really so sorry to say this. This is the only one boring topic in my course. This is the only one boring topic in my course. Entire course, this is the only one. Boring in the sense, in what perspective boring? We will not write the code. Only few things will write, remaining things will be handled by the framework. And it's the framework inside that. And questions will happen, question will be asked, what framework is going to do at that time, what framework is going to do at this time. Like that, the questions will be asked in the interview, guys. Okay. So I'll try my level best where you will not get bored again, but kindly only for this topic today and tomorrow. Okay. Mostly I'll complete in one class or it may take to 1.5 class. Kindly bear with me, guys. Okay. So far clear, guys? Already getting bored? No, right? Right. Guys, I am requesting everyone, people are joining very, very late, sir. I told n number of times. But still people are going like this only. It's your choice. 8 o'clock class means I'm going to sharp 8 o'clock. 1 or 2 minutes I'll wait. That's it. I'll not wait more than that. You are the person going to lose. I told n number of times. Okay? Right here. So what is a life cycle, guys? What is the meaning of a life cycle? Can someone tell me life cycle means what? What is the
From
meaning of a life
start to
cycle?
end.
Stages of life.
Creation to destroy.
Exactly. Creation to destroy. Human life cycle. Correct, right? Human also will have a life cycle, right? Our birth will be started in hospital or home somewhere else. I think nowadays everything in a hospital. Okay. And slowly education stage, kids, and slowly we'll go to higher education and slowly we'll go to next level and will become employed or some kind of our own self-employed. Then marriage life. After that, tough life. After that, again kids. Again tough life. And finally, retirement. And finally going to end our life, right? So there's a certain stages for a human life. For a web application, what is the stage, guys? When I load my application, that is the starting. When I load my application, there is a starting point. And entire navigations I'll do. Those are stages of my application. Finally, I'll close my application. Starting up the application. After that, I'll have some kind of navigations. After that, I'll close my application. Yeah. So by default, what I'm going to do is typically whenever a page is launched or application page is launched and when the application is closed from the browser. When application is injected into browser, that's the starting point. Whenever application is unloaded from the DOM, unloaded from the browser, that is browser closed and browser open. Browser closed as well as browser open. Can we call like that actually? Can we say like that, guys? That is the meaning of a life cycle application. That's the meaning, typical meaning of a life cycle. Okay. Whenever application is started and whenever application is launched and while I was active, while it was an active, completely what changes I am going to do, that is the typical. Okay. Right here. So far clear, right? So, sir, do we have a framework level impact on the application life cycle? Do you have any impact on the framework, guys? What framework will do is everything developer cannot write the code, guys, here. Everything. Developer is not going to write the code here. Okay. Some things will be handled by the framework here. Some things will be handled by the developer. Some things will be done by the framework. Something will be done by the developer here. Okay. So in Angular, guys, completely, who will take care? This is a client side rendering, guys, right? It's a typically client side rendering portion, right, guys? Am I right? So page construction, state management, and page destruction, everything will be done by the framework only. Compared to other applications, guys, when I compare to other applications, okay, when I compare to other applications, especially Angular is concerned over here. Whenever Angular is concerned here, entire life cycle, I can say that 100% of the life cycle is managed by the framework only. That's why I told this is a boring topic. If at all I am writing a code, I'll get interest, right? But I'm not writing a code. I'm only writing a code of what exactly I need. But conversion of HTML file, TypeScript file, as well as CSS file. Okay. Conversion of HTML file, TypeScript file, as well as CSS file. And converting TypeScript into DOM and reloading of the DOM. Whenever there is a change in the DOM, automatically that change will be applied. Just like we saw track by pipes, all those things, right? Whenever there is a change in DOM, Angular only taking care of DOM, right? So in the background, these are the events are triggering. In the background, these are the events are getting triggered here, which is taking care of managing the life cycle. Okay. So what is the life cycle meaning, guys? What is the responsibility of a life cycle? It creates the component. Okay, sir. It creates the component as well as renders the component. Rendering means what? Displaying. Creates the component. Angular only creates, right, guys? Sir, interview question. What is the meaning of a life cycle? How this life cycle is different from Angular to other applications, other web applications? Do you see any difference on the other web application life cycle versus Angular life cycle? Understand? So at that time, Angular will take care of creating the component, right? And rendering the component, displaying the component, also create and render the children. What is the children, guys? What is the meaning of children? Any idea? Maybe I'll expect only Java only can give the answer. I don't know, but I'll just hoping. What is the meaning of a children?
Subcomponent.
What is the subcomponent, guys? What is the meaning of subcomponent?
For communication.
Yeah. People are giving correct answer. Correct answers only.
Inherits the.
Right. Exactly. For example, in the last example, employee details, employee component, list component and details component, right? Sir, in the last example, we took list component and count component, right? Can I say list component is parent and count component is child? Can I say like that? Can I say like that, guys? Let me repeat here. In the last example of employee details, that thing, right, guys? I'm considering that list component will be, typically list component will be parent component. Count component will be child component, right? Sir, why I can say that list component is parent and child, count is a child? How can I say like that?
Count
What is the,
component.
yeah.
Count component is using data of parent component. That list.
Exactly, right answer. It's a perfect answer. Sir, actual data is where exists, sir? List component only, right, guys? Count component just taking the data from list component only, right? All, male, female. Am I right? So that's why. So, am I doing anything, guys? Let me first load list component, then am I writing any code, right? No, right? I am bootstrapping count component within list component. That is one more point also. That's one more point also. How can I say list component is parent component? How can I say count component is child component, right? I am bootstrapping the count component in the list component. I am bootstrapping the count component in the list component. That itself is giving the same meaning, right? So, am I writing any code, guys? No, right? So, Angular only creates the component. Angular only creates the component children. Not only loads the parent component, it will also load the child component. Angular not only loads the parent component, it will also load the child component. Correct, right? Right. Also, this is important point, guys. Checks. It will verify any data bound properties changes. What is the meaning of data bound properties? That means in the parent component, I clicked on refresh button, reload button, right? In the parent component, I clicked on reload button. I am adding 2 extra employees, right, guys? In the last example, right, guys? On reload of list component, I am adding 2 extra employees. So that data bound properties are changed, right, guys?
Yes, sir.
What are data bound properties? Input properties, right, guys? All, male, female. Whenever I clicked on reload, all value changed, male value changed, female value also changed. Correct, right?
Yes, sir.
And did I write any code to reload my count component? No, Angular only taking care here. My only responsibility is at the rate of input is going to taking care of everything, complete navigation. Whenever bound properties changes, it will reload the respective application. So that is going to take care. Okay. So checks when the component data bound properties are changed. If it is not changed, no issues. If it is changed, it will take care. Also, whenever event is happening, whenever I have an event in one component, the change in other components also event is getting changed. That time also a life cycle is going to take care. Okay. So what I mean to say that it is going to create the component and it is going to render the component. It is going to render the component, right? Also, it will create both parent component as well as list component. Sorry, it is going to load the parent component as well as child component. Parent and children. Also, it verifies any of the bound properties changes. It verifies any of the bound properties changes, input also output. It automatically takes care of the action. And finally, it destroys the component. It completely destroys the component. Whenever I close the browser, all the complete DOM will be destroyed. Both count component will be destroyed. Both count component is going to be destroyed, as well as list component will be destroyed. Complete DOM associated to parent component, associated to child component, that will be taken care. This is the responsibility of a life cycle hook or a life cycle. Let me repeat, guys. It's a very, very important interview question. Interviewer is going to ask you, do you know life cycle hooks? Yes. If you say that, yes, you know. Hey, tell me, man, what Angular is going to do as part of life cycle? What you observed, what exactly life cycle is going to do that? So your answer should be Angular completely take, unlike other frameworks, complete page navigation, page construction, page destruction, everything will be taken care by Angular itself, unlike other frameworks. What exactly Angular is going to do that? It creates the component, renders the component, rendering in the sense combining HTML, TypeScript, CSS into DOM, and the DOM will be added to main.js, and main.js is executed. That is meaning of rendering. Okay, right. And it is not only displaying the parent, guys. It will display the parent as well as children. Whenever it's not mandatory that every page should have parent and child. I can have independent page also, or sometimes I can have parent page as well as child page also. So it is going to create and render the children, main component, children component will be loaded, and checks when the component bound properties are going to change. It is going to verify the component bound properties are going to change here. Okay, any of the input property changes as well as any of the output property changes. Okay, any of the input property changes as well as any of the output property changes, completely it will take care. Finally, it is going to destroy from the DOM. Whenever a component is unloaded, or when I close it from the component, when I close it from the component level, or when I close from the browser, the component will be destroyed. So these are the responsibility of a life cycle. Just a developer will write a code and everything will be managed by the framework. The management is nothing but this is so far here. Okay. These 5 steps are very, very important, guys, here. These 5 steps are very, very important here, and you should remember while taking in the interview. Okay. Any questions on these 5 points, guys, as of now? As of now, any questions on these 5 points, guys? Right. Now, totally, these are the 8 events, guys. Typically, these are the 8 events we have in Angular. All these are typically written by the framework only, guys. All these are typically written by the framework only, guys. Okay. You no need to write any code here. All this kind of typically managed by the framework only, guys. It's not a responsibility of a typical developer here. Understand? So, sir, out of these 8, sir, how many we have seen till now, sir? Can someone tell me? Out of these 8, we have seen few things, guys. How many of you we have seen? Any idea?
Changes and init.
2, sir.
Can you say that?
Entry on changes, entry on.
I am telling that total we have seen 2. Is that correct? NG
Yes, sir.
on it we have seen,
Yes.
and recent example I told NG on changes is going to come, which I told that I'm going to explain also, right? Right, sir, so far?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So NG on it is one thing, NG on changes is another thing. In real time also we will write the code for these 2 only, guys. Sir, constructor is there. Is it a life cycle, sir? In a component we have a constructor also, right, guys?
Yes, sir.
Can I call constructor as a life cycle hook?
No.
Why?
Mm,
Why we cannot call constructor as a life cycle hook?
It is JavaScript feature.
Sorry?
Constructor is like a method when it is invoked when class is created.
Correct. Whenever a component is created, whenever component is initialized, that time only. And the constructor will never pick it up again.
Yes.
So it's only invoked whenever it only invoked, guys. It typically invoke only when the component is initialized. After that, it will not invoke any other things over here. So that's why we cannot call that as a constructor as a hook. Okay. So some people will tell that component will be created by the constructor only, right? But it's the constructor will be automatically executed. For example, sir, I didn't write any code in constructor. I didn't write any code in the constructor. So nothing, right? Only constructor will be used only
Once.
as a initializing your data structure. In the last class, we initialized host listener. In the last class, we initialized host binding. Am I right? Element ref, all those things we did, right, guys? So constructor is mainly useful for initializing the data structure used in our application. Initializing the data structure used in our application. That's it. So we cannot consider that as a life cycle hook. We cannot consider this as a life cycle hook here. So far clear? Right. Now, sir, what we understood from NG on it, sir? What is the meaning of NG on it? What we observed, I told at the time of teaching this one, right, guys? Constructor versus NG on it. I told the difference.
It will be
Anyone
called
remember?
page is initialized.
Constructor is also called at the time of initialization, right?
On
What
every
is the
change, it
code
will
we
be-
saw? What is the code we know that? What is the code we need to write?
Whenever load the component on it will be initialized every time.
keep any input properties updated.
Exactly. This is the first point here. Sir, when you will write ng on it, whenever a component is taking the properties input, if I don't have input properties, then no need of ng on it. That's the meaning over here. Constructor as well as ng on it. Okay. Constructor only called once. ng on it whenever there is the input properties are available in the page, and those input properties changes also. We need to think about the input properties changed also. That we need to think about it, guys. Okay. So ng on changes whenever there is a change. I mean, by default, sorry, ng on it, maybe only the input property is available, ng on it here. And ng on changes.
Sir, one doubt, sir. Sir,
Please.
ng on init and constructor works same. Only difference is constructor will invokes only once
No,
initialize.
no.
Okay, sir.
Let me explain once again. I already told, but I'll explain once again. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Constructor will be called only once. ng on it will be called every time we initialize. That's the first difference. But in real time, we cannot say like that. Okay. I have a page. When there are no input properties available. What do you mean by input properties are available? It's an orphan page. I am loading the data from its component only. I am not getting the data from any other page. No input, no output. Then constructor ng on it same. There is no difference here. Okay. For example, I have a page. I have 100 controls. 5 controls I am getting the data from different component. 95 controls I am getting the data from user. At that time, those 5 controls data will be changed or it will be retrieved via ng on it. So ng on it mainly useful for when there is a input properties are available. Constructor only for initializing the hard-coded values. Static data. That is what we saw in a visiting card component. Initially, we initialized with visiting card with hard-coded data, right? After that, I am getting the data from one component. Then we wrote in ng on it. You remember?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now is clear?
Yes, sir. Good.
Yeah. Right. Now, here we'll see, sir, at high level. We only know ng on it, guys. After that, we don't know anything. But I will explain here. Whenever a component is initialized, let me say localhost 4200 I hit. I hit localhost colon 4200. Mr. Rajesh, can you go on mute? Thank you. So whenever I hit localhost colon 4200, the first event is ng on changes. That's the first event. Lot of people will think that constructor. Constructor will be called only once. After it will never call. So constructor is not part of life cycle. ng on changes is going to check. What ng on changes is going to do here? Is there any change in my input? It will verify. Is there any change in the input value? It is going to verify that. That is called as ng on changes. ng on changes will be called, it will verify any property changes. If it is really changed, then what it will be called. For example, in my last example, 16 employees I took. All are 16, male are 8, female are 8. All are 8, female are 8, all 16. After that, I clicked reload. Then my all value changed, male value changed, input female value changed. So, which is going to change ng on changes here? Which is ng on changes will be called here. For example, if there is no change in all, there is no change in male, there is no change in the female. When there is no change in all, there is no change in male, or there is no change in female. One second. So by default, what I'm trying to say is, if the values are changed in the page, If the values are typically changed in the page, then only ng on changes will be called here. Then only ng on changes will be called over here. Otherwise, ng on changes will never be called over here. Sir, how know that whether values are changed or not? There is a third event called as ng do check. You saw third event? ng do check. That is a third event. Okay. So first ng on changes is going to verify. ng on change is going to verify if the values are changed or not. It will internally call ng do check, and ng do check will verify that. ng do check is going to verify that. It is internally called that, and any change detection. In Angular, we have a change detection right. Okay. On a change detection, typically framework is going to take care of any values are changed here as part of this. That is, ng on changes is going to verify whether the change is done, then only it is going to verify that. ng do check is going to tell you if the changes are happened or not, right? Doesn't mean. Right. Next one is, so the first three events are, we will not write a code. Only ng on changes will write a code. Last time we wrote a code in ng on changes, right? That means whenever my input value is changed, then only I am going to write the code here. That's why I wrote specifically ng on changes. Inside ng on changes, I reloaded my my CC logo. Sir, in a legacy world, we need to write a lot of code, right? On blur, on focus, and the change values changed or not. We need to write a lot of things, right, guys? But here, if you feel that any input property changed, then you need to add something. Then you can write in ng on changes. One more best example. In a e-commerce application, right? If the price changes, price is going to change, right? A product price is changes, right? Always. So when a REST call is giving, inside REST call, if the product price is changing, then you can think of handle with ng on changes. Stock price increases, green symbol, decreases, red symbol. What are the old value and new value? Based on that, I'll do a apply here. Okay. So these are the typical example of ng on changes over here. And ng do check is going to verify if the change is happened or not, and ng on it in be initialized. So mostly developer will write the code on the first two events, and remaining things will never write a code. All these things will be typically taken care from the background here. So everyone is clear on the first three, guys? ng on changes, ng on init, ng do check. Any questions on these three as of now?
Sir, it means when you write ng on change, it will internally check with ng on do check whether the change happened or not, and then it will be reflected by ng on change on the UI, right?
Exactly. Perfect. Okay.
Okay.
So ng on changes will have a code. It will do a ng do check, and there is a change. Then ng on changes it will retrigger. It's the internal will take it. Okay. Right. Next. So these three are ng on changes, ng on init, ng do check. On a TypeScript side, guys. These are typically from TypeScript code. on HTML, ng after content init, ng after content checked, ng after view init, ng after view checked. There are 4 things are ng after content init, ng after content checked, ng after view init, ng after view checked. That means my entire data, TypeScript data, is projected to HTML. Okay? My parent component is projected to view. That is ng after content init. And any change in that ng after content changed in that component, any change is there on HTML side. Track by we saw, right guys? Track by. The track by will be called ng after content checked action. And view init, view checked is for child component. Child component. ng after content init, ng after content checked is for parent component. ng after view init, ng after view checked is for child component. And finally, ng on destroy. Okay? So let me tell you guys, once again, I'll tell you, the order will be important, guys. Typically, order will be very, very important. Whenever I am loading localhost colon 4200, whenever I'm doing a localhost colon 4200, first time it will check ng on changes. It will verify, do we have any input property? If yes, is the value is changed or not? It will call the do check on the change detection. On the change detection, if you identifies that input properties changes, then ng on changes will be called. And ng on it will be initialized. The changes will be initialized on the TypeScript side. After that, all these changes are binded to HTML. That is ng after content init. After that, any change in data ng after content checked, and the component is having child component, ng after view init, ng after view checked. Those will be then. And finally, when the component is removed, I click close, ng on destroy, that will be comp. This is the series of events on a life cycle is concerned. Order is very, very important, guys. ng on changes, ng on init, ng do check, ng after content init, ng after content checked, ng after view init, ng after view checked, ng on destroy. I don't know how you'll remember. You need to remember the sequence. Okay? Any questions, guys, on understanding this? Typically, as of now, any questions? Yeah. Now, sir, is it going to call every time like this? No. If you see from the diagram, ng on changes, ng on it. ng do check, ng on destroy. Initialization destruction one time. On changes, do check every time will be called. And content in it on, these are separate. 2 are separate, another 2 are separate, another 4 are separate. Total 8, right? 1, 4 is one section. Init and destroy separate section. On changes, do check are separate section. On changes and do check, every time change reduction. Initialization destruction, that is one time. And whenever a change in HTML, that is 4 things. So that's why these are taken typically here. Okay? Right. So ng on changes, ng on it, ng on destroy. Just like I told, right? So ng on changes, it will check whether the values are changed or not. How it is going to do that is, it is internally creating a simple changes object, guys. that is typically creating a simple changes object that contains old value, that contains new value. I will write a code here, guys. I will write a code on ng on changes, simple changes object. I'll explain you guys. Okay? I will write a code and I will explain you guys. You don't need to worry on that. How ng on changes is going to trigger a change detection, how it is going to happen, that I'm going to write a code here. Okay? So this is what our order constructor ng on changes called only when there is an input component and every time there is a change to it. ng on it, ng do check whenever there is a change detection. Content in it, content checked. Every time after ng do check. View in it, view checked, and finally destroy. This is the typical things over here on a life cycle is concerned, guys.
Sir, ng on init when it will work, sir?
ng on it,
What will do ng on it and when it will go after on changes? ng
on changes will tell you, sir. This is changed. For example, in the last example, right, sir? All count is 16. Male count is 8. Female count is 8. Am I right?
Okay.
After that, I reloaded the page. Then 18, 9, 9, right? ng on changes going to give the information. Hey, all is 18, male is 9, female is 9. So it should replace it to the list component, right?
Yes.
ng on it is going to take the values. ng on changes give the values, ng on it take the values. After that, these values are projected into ng after content checked. It is a parent component. It is a child component, ng after view checked. That's how the data will come into. Okay?
Got it.
Yeah. Any other question here? Right. So tomorrow, sir, can we have a class, guys? My feeling is we want to have class. Or anyone is planning to go to Nimmersion, or what exactly the view? How many are from Hyderabad, guys? Anyone is from Hyderabad in this class?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me put a different question. How many want, can you raise a hand, guys? How many wants a class tomorrow? Majority by minute, I will go with that. If a majority of the people are looking, I'll take a class. How many people looking for a class for tomorrow? I'm repeating that, guys. How many people looking for a class for tomorrow? Only 6 people. Okay. Okay, almost 11 people are there, guys. And remaining 20 people not interested, maybe something like that. As of now, I got 10 hands, guys. Okay, sir, maybe can I take a class based on the people who joined, or we want to declare initially?
Sir, we can plan for a break so that we can do the assignment. It is my thought.
Okay. How about other guys? Because some people are interested for going for an immersion and something like that. I don't want to hurt anyone. I am ready to take a class. I don't have anything. I will not go anywhere. But I want to respect everyone's emotions. Okay. Especially Hyderabad people. I think few people are there. Okay. It's a mixed feeling. Okay. Maybe I'll update you guys by tomorrow morning. I'll update you. Okay, whether we're going to have a class or not. Okay, I'll check everyone and I'll update. Okay. Okay, I'm going to share the code today, guys, and we'll see tomorrow, because more of theory, it will inject a lot of things in your brain. Maybe I'll pause here. Okay, I'll share the code, last class code, and tomorrow whatever I explained, that also I'm going to share. Okay, tomorrow class status I'll update, guys. Okay, and we'll see that. Okay, thanks everyone for today. We'll meet tomorrow. Thank you everyone. Have a great day. Thank you all.